Alright guys, so recently on the channel we checked out the brand new SHOKZ OpenDots 2. This is like their latest, more premier clip-on style earbud, and by the end of the video you could probably tell I wasn't really blown away by the value that they brought. I mean, they came in at $199, and in that video I said that I believe that their new Air was probably going to be the much better buy because it comes in at $129. And so today we're going to be checking out the brand new SHOKZ OpenDots Air, and we're going to see if it truly is the much better buy. Now, if you are interested in checking these out, the Air is available in two different colors. I have the black version here, but it also comes in purple. And then let's just go ahead and jump into the look and the design of these because they are slightly different. The case is still small, so I am a huge fan of that. It's not one of those larger cases that's going to take up a whole lot of space in your pocket. It is not Qi wireless charging compatible like the OpenDots 2, so keep that in mind. But the earbuds themselves are also slightly different. Even by the design of the part that goes behind your ears, it's a little bit more stiff, so it doesn't have as much flexibility as the regular OpenDots 2. But at the same time, I also feel like that causes these to stay on your ears a little bit better than the OpenDots 2. It feels like it has a tighter grip, but not to the point where it's uncomfortable at all. This is still a very comfortable pair of earbuds, and the earbuds also utilize the tap and squeeze gestures as well, so you have all the same controls, and I am happy to say that you do get control over everything straight out of the box. And another thing is, as far as the placement of the speaker, the same kind of opening, you get the exact same thing here. They're using the same 11.8mm driver, and they're also still using the Bassphere technology, although it says it's just Bassphere instead of Bassphere 2.0, which is what's on the OpenDots 2. But we'll talk about that a little bit more once we get to the sound. Now, as far as some of the technology in here, it does have it where it will just auto adapt whatever side you put the earbud in the case. So if you take the right earbud out of your ear and kind of put it in the left side of the case and vice versa, in the case, it will just automatically, it doesn't really matter. It'll charge either side, either way that you put it. And another huge plus, and this is something that was in the OpenDots 2, is no matter what ear you put the earbuds on, it will detect which one is actually your left and which one is your right when you start listening to music. So again, you don't have to look and see which one is my left, which one is my right. You just pull it out of the case, put them on, and then you're good to go. It'll just detect it on its own. And speaking of detection, it also has smart sensors. So if you take them out of your ears, it will just auto pause. And then once you put them back on your ears, or in your ears, I guess, it will just go back to what you're playing. And then as far as any other technology, these do have Bluetooth 6.1, so they do support multi-point connection. So you can connect to more than one device at a time. This is something that's kind of standard at this point. All of the newer earbuds, especially any of them that's using Bluetooth 6.0 or higher, are going to have this feature. But one of the things that these don't have, as far as tech-wise, that the OpenDots 2 has, is these don't support Dolby Audio. And in my review of the OpenDots 2, I'm not a huge fan of Dolby Audio in the first place, especially for things like this. I feel like for music, it just adds a weird reverb effect. It's not really doing anything to kind of benefit you when you're listening to music, and I only find it to be kind of beneficial for gaming and movies. So that's not a huge loss that that's not here on the Airs. But in the app, other things that you can actually do is there are 4 different EQ modes. You can switch it between those, preset EQ settings, or you can go in and customize the EQ settings the way that you want. There's also a Find My Earbuds feature, and there is the ability to go in and switch around controls if you want to do that. But like I said, you're able to control everything out of the box, so this isn't really necessary. Now, like I said earlier, these do not support Qi wireless charging, so you would think that these would come with a USB-C cable for charging, because that is what you're going to need to charge these, and they do not include the charging cable. I think at this point, they think a lot of people already have USB-C cables, and that's probably true, but I think if I'm going to be spending $130 for a pair of earbuds, I still would like to have the cable included anyway. But speaking of the charging, battery life is just slightly less than the OpenDots 2 because on a full charge, you can get 9 hours on the earbuds. You're going to get about 36 hours using the case. And then these do have a fast charging feature where a 10-minute charge is going to get you 2 hours. So the OpenDots 2 is going to just give you a slight bump, which is going to give you 10 hours on the earbuds, and you're going to get about 40 hours using the case. So that's not going to be a deal breaker because the 9 hours is still going to get you through a full workday. Now, if you are going to be using these outdoors, they do come in with an IP55 rating, which means you are going to get some pretty good protection against water like rain and splashes, sweat and things like that. But you're also getting protection against dust as well. Now, you are getting slightly better water protection on the OpenDots 2 because you have IP57, but IP55 definitely kind of gives you peace of mind on just a normal day-to-day basis. Now, for you guys that do like to use your earbuds for taking phone calls, these do have dual mics, which is one less mic than what is on the OpenDots 2, because the OpenDots 2 also incorporated a bone conduction mic. But the mics here, I think, are doing a decent job. It still has the AI technology to kind of focus in on your voice and also block out a lot of your surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a quick test here. So here is a quick mic test outdoors using the SHOKZ OpenDots Air. I do hear some birds. I can hear like a slight amount of traffic, but really this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's go ahead and talk about the sound. And honestly, I feel like these are giving you pretty much the same experience that you're getting with the OpenDots 2. I definitely did not notice a huge difference here. If anything, I would say that the OpenDots 2 has a tiny bit more bass to them and a little bit more warmth to the sound, but the Airs still have plenty of punch to them for this type of design, and it still has a warmer sound overall, but it still has a lot of details when it comes to the mids and the treble. The mids still have that slightly forward approach, but having that warmer tone makes vocals sound a little bit more natural than other clip-on style earbuds. And again, the treble on these have a nice amount of detail. It's not overly bright or overly harsh or anything like that, but it never seems to fall flat or feel like it's so warm that you're lacking in detail. So this is a very detailed earbud that can still provide a really good amount of punch. I definitely feel, as far as like a clip-on style earbud, the Airs still makes you feel like you're getting a premium listening experience, kind of like the OpenDots 1 and the OpenDots 2 do, but this time it doesn't come with that price tag. So I would say that it's still definitely tuned to have that dynamic sound. Again, having that punch in the low end in this style of earbud is always nice, because a lot of clip-on style earbuds tend to lack bass and it tends to feel a little bit more tinny, and that's not the experience that you get with these, because again, the warmer sound makes it feel more like a pair of headphones or a pair of earbuds, but having the open design allows these to have a lot more space. So this is definitely a very open sounding earbud, but it does such a good job of being able to tell where different sounds are coming from, and that is without having Dolby audio, which again, I don't really feel is necessary, and I don't think a lot of people utilize when it comes to listening to music anyway. So to kind of wrap this video up, if you're looking at the OpenDots 2 as an option, I am definitely going to stick by the fact that I feel like the OpenDots Air is a much better buy. Now, you are going to sacrifice some things, like you're not going to get Qi wireless charging, you're not going to get Dolby audio, you are going to get that 1 hour less of battery life with the Airs, which I don't think a lot of people are gonna really have a huge issue with, and you're gonna have that one less microphone when it comes to taking phone calls. And again, I think the call quality on the Airs is still really good, the battery life is still very good, and the sound quality, in my opinion, matches the OpenDots 2. And Dolby audio, again, I don't even think that's worth mentioning in my opinion, because that's not a feature I've been blown away by up to this point. So yeah, definitely take a look at the Airs if you're even thinking about looking at any of SHOKZ's new clip-on style earbuds. And in my opinion, I think this is SHOKZ's best clip-on style earbud in their lineup, at least for the money. This is definitely the one that I would recommend. But guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new SHOKZ OpenDots Air. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.